but the masses, right?
Yeah.
Because we unfortunately, you know, I feel like at times we've suffered so many losses that anything that looks like a win is like, you know, like with the whole thing with Fonnie Willis, her here
Oh,
in
yeah, that's such a mess. I'm sorry
yeah.
about that. You're hurting my heart by even
Nah,
bringing that up.
I live here, so my feelings, my hurt,
No,
my
you're
heart is
you
hurt.
feel it more than I do.
Yeah,
Okay, go
yeah,
ahead.
because what it is, it becomes like, you know, black girl magic. It becomes, it doesn't matter that Kamala was was railroading humans, trafficking, Africans in the California prison system.
Yeah,
It
as a
was cool.
district attorney, right?
Yeah, yeah. So she's first black vice president. It's all good. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? It doesn't matter that Angela's her her
Mhm.
on the run tour was similar to Jay-Z and Beyonce. You know what I'm saying? It was a celebration. You're buying cars, you renting
Mhm.
spots. You. I mean, that's a hell of a on the run. You get book deals the whole nine. You have a PR campaign behind you. You have power behind you. You're hiding in the city. Not to keep bringing it up, but I mean, why is it that our people are caught
Okay.
up in cult of personality?
You know
What's
what? Yeah, okay. I'm not gonna be devil's advocate with you because, it wouldn't work, and so I'll just try to keep it basic. All right.
no problem? We
This
fair to that.
is my interpretation, so I'm not saying this as a scholar, I'm just talking as a person. I believe that we've been so traumatized over generations that we need a win. And if the win is a compromise, I mean, it's a real win because she's was not, I think it was 17 or 18 months, and then she got to go live her life and recover because I'm sure that she deeply cared about both Jonathan Jackson and George Jackson. So John dies August 7th, 1970, by prison guards shooting up a van, and George dies August 21, 1971, by prison guards shooting him in the back when he's running to a wall, which would be impossible to scale if you've ever seen prison walls made out of concrete.
Right.
So I think that we can't talk about anybody's individual trauma except acknowledge it. But I think we could talk about our own trauma. And then when we like, oh wow, one got out or somebody got, like they didn't get this one, like, and we so, I mean, think of the assassinations like in a row. 63 Medgar Evers, and before that, 65, Malcolm X, Malik El Shabazz, 68,
King.
Reverend King, 69, Fred
Yeah,
Hampton. You just keep it rolling, right?
yeah, yeah.
Like the
Go
state.
back to Patrice and
Oh yeah. Oh, Patrice, please. And this is why I have issues with the CIA women and
reason to have
white.
issues with the CIA. But go ahead.
Well, I mean, I've got to put a little caveat in here because I know like some people don't like my work, which is okay. But I'll tell you clear, my work is scholarship. So whether you like it or not, it's real. So if you want to avoid, reality or material realism, whatever, that's totally up to you. Nobody asked you to buy it, but it's real. And so the conundrum we're in is that we're very aspirational and we're probably very frightened. And this is what I really like about Mumia's Love Not Fear. First I was like hating on it, and then I was like, okay, I saw the light. So if we loved ourselves, and we do more, that's what I was going to add, there's a possibility we could accept the losses in real time without creating iconic figures. You should celebrate people for their writings, their teaching, everything else. But a revolutionary leader is that's not what elite academics are. That never was the case. Or if they were like Walter Rodney, he couldn't, they wouldn't let him keep a job, and then they assassinated him anyway. So if you're going to be feted and celebrated, by liberals, and like a lot of money is going to flow in from nonprofits, which again, I've said before, that's, revenue from monetization of Black death. Because again, to go back to class, it's the Black working class and the Black poor are getting shot up or beaten to death, mostly by police officers, right? So if you want to win, that would require us rethinking how we organize against predatory violence from the state. But if you want a symbolic win that somehow expands over, 5 decades or 50 years and touches everybody, and we're on the right track, I don't think that's grounded in reality. I mean, those names, some of them names, Rosa Parks, Fannie Lou Hamer, I don't believe was one of the names, but we come from people who kept it real. They didn't have to create icons, and they didn't have to celebrate. Like I think you've said on some of your podcasts, don't claim any easy victories, right? And I'm sure it's painful to people in the middle of it, but the way it worked out, they got a very influential icon. And so that's the subtitle. It's an icon. So there's a person in there somewhere. We don't know the person, so we can't judge a person. But we can make an assessment on iconography and see if it's opening pathways to liberation or if it's closing those doors because we have this false security that we can pull something off. When, I was trying to lay out, without talking about the stuff that's not even in this book, that there are compromises made with state and with liberals in order to get certain outcomes. And you don't have to go to a past century or past decades. You could just talk about this century and what's going on right now. Like even as we protest or don't protest, or to whatever degree we resist a genocide, we're clearly doing it in ways, except for the kids that got doxxed and the people that got arrested and harassed by the NYPD and others. But a number of us who are middle class are doing it in ways that we maintain our security, our personal security, our personal standing. Like, I need to keep my job. And it's legit. Like, you got kids, you got elders, you need healthcare, et cetera, et cetera. But you cannot overshadow the people who just say, I'm doing it. Like I'm going to the streets. I'm going to get into these protests. And people who risk their lives to stop brutal wars that we're forced to fund. And then it becomes very problematic if we're going to build concentric circles with genocidal leaders. Like I would be like, well, maybe we're going to hit a point where having these concentric circles of care and protection from the state and nonprofit, it's just going to be like sold too much of whatever is left of the soul